Hello to you, our viewers. Welcome to this edition of the news in English on Rwanda Television. My name is Serish Nhore. We'll begin with the headlines. The 29th National Prayer Breakfast has been held in Kigali under the theme, Serving God's People for Lasting Change. The Social Democratic Party of Rwanda has decided to hold its Congress towards the end of March to decide who will stand on its behalf during the country's presidential and parliamentary elections in July. Now the details. Thank you once again for taking the time to join us. During the National Prayer Breakfast that is held every year, this year that is, President Paul Kagame has urged Rwandans to understand that based on how far the country has come, only they can decide its destiny. We have the details with Adams Kwizera.
In this National Prayer Breakfast, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, expressed that politics, faith and religion have a common ground because everything is there to serve people and develop them. The head of state emphasized that people should know that they are equal before God and no one is superior to the other. The first thing you have to understand is that people are the same and equal before God. No one is above the other. One has to accept it and live by it. It is what should guide your work. In this prayers, they reiterated on the good deeds that God has done for Rwanda in the past 30 years, as it was noted by various renowned preachers, including Pastor Antoine Rutayisire and Apostle Mignon Kabera, who pointed out how the governance of Rwanda and the unsparing dedication of its people resulted as a channel of blessings for Rwanda. I would say that as God prepared Nehemiah to recover where it was distracted, you all know that in the last 30 years, every place was distracted, but mainly people's hearts were distracted most. Then you understand that we have reasons to thank God that brought to us the leadership that helped us to recover where it was damaged, without referring it to any ethnicity as the only thing that contributed to our development. Even the Bible says that faith without deed is dead, which means that we have to pray with faith and work. There are letters of prayers to feed our activities. Like if you're a Christian, act like a Christian, hence to let God bless your ways. Reverend Dr. Goodwill Shana, the founder and senior pastor of Word of Life International Ministries, who preached in this National Prayers Breakfast, noted that Rwanda is a sign of how God can use to achieve big things.
We have already seen so much transformation in this country, and yet I believe that the best is yet to come. I believe that this cannot be the end. I believe that the models that we have seen here in Rwanda can be replicated everywhere, including in my own country. And we stand here in Africa proud of what Rwanda has achieved. From where you were, from the bleeding, from the hurting, from the broken situation that Rwanda was, it is now a place that we can all be proud of in Africa. It's a place where many people have come to learn lessons.
The head of state noted that people should not sit and pray for God to do the rest. He pointed out that a person believes something while he does, but everything will go together and result into development. He noted that where Rwandans have reached is the result of their determination and choice, where he pointed out that no one anywhere can decide where to take Rwanda, except Rwandans themselves. When you review where Rwanda came from, and what we went through, where we are, and where we want to move, no one ever from anywhere in the world can choose where to take Rwanda or drive it to anywhere except the Rwandans themselves, even in that faith and working together. But we should be first in all. President Kagame also noted that what Rwanda has achieved is a lesson for the youth because they are the future leaders. I want you to understand this very well, that by the time you'll be here in these positions, show that the lessons we learned from this history were not taken for granted, hence so that you provide this to other generations. This national prayer breakfast was attended by the private sector, civil society, faith sector, government officials, international guests and others. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Now, as we noted in the headlines, the Social Democratic Party of Rwanda has decided to hold its Congress towards the end of March to decide who will stand on its behalf during the country's presidential and parliamentary elections in July. Adams Kwizera continues.
The first vice president of the PSD party, Muhakwa Valence, noted that they are confident of doing well in the presidential and the parliamentary elections scheduled in July this year. But the final decision on this matter will be taken by the Congress of this party, which is scheduled to take place by the end of March.
On
the place of the presidential candidate, our rules and regulations are clear that it's a decision which is taken by the party's National Congress. Then, as you heard it, the National Congress will take place in March as we take that decision. He also reiterated on the role of this party in the government's achievements in the past 7 years. In general, we are happy of what was achieved. As you heard that, we are planning to make our manifesto that we will deliver to Rwandans during campaigns. There we demonstrate what was achieved and what we have for Rwandans. As you know, we've been working well whenever we are voted in different seats. The PSD party was founded in 1991. Now it has representatives from every village to the central authorities of the country. However, this political party used to not have institutions representing women and youth at the national level. The administration of this political party says that in the next Congress, these bodies will also be elected to help them better monitor the specific issues of women and youth, since they are the majority of Rwanda's population.
Thank you, Adams. Now, members of the general public have been commending the fact that resolutions reached in last year's National Mshichirano Council have been helping the agricultural sector to significantly increase its productivity. Measures reached at what was at the time the 18th gathering of the council pushed for specialized low-interest loans to be made available to farmers and for things like quality planting seeds and industrial-grade fertilizer to be delivered in time to those that need them for their farms. The results of those discussions and decisions have helped many farmers to more than double their output on average, with some producing as much as 5 times what they previously produced on a single hectare of land. Government subsidies have also been helping farmers to develop much faster. Top officials in the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources have stressed that the efforts will continue and that harvests should be properly stored so as to minimize losses. Major global events such as climate change, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the war in Ukraine have had agricultural sectors around the world struggling to meet demand, which is why Rwanda's government has been emphasizing the need to come up with effective solutions that can help the country to achieve sustainable long-term food security. Now, figures from the Ministry of Trade and Industry have shown that the industrial sector here in Rwanda has been contributing as much as 21% of the country to the country's gross domestic product, or GDP, up from 16.5% in 2017. Adams Kwizera once more.
In the 7 years that will come to an end in June this year, the sector of industry is content that at least the country has 1,119 small and large industries, including 311 established in those 7 years. Some of the managers and employees of those industries believe that they are changing the lives of many of their suppliers and workers. As the pandemic has really shaken industries, but for now it's getting recovered slowly. I think you saw the capacity of banana we produce, as we've now reached to 30 tons per day. As soon, we need to produce more bananas with the quality. The 2024 Rwanda industrial sector was at a pace of 17% and accounts for 30.1% of the total exports. The Director General of Entrepreneurship and Industry Promotion at the Ministry of Trade and Industry in Rwanda, MICOM, Fred Mugabe, says that 311 industries that have been established in the past 7 years has brought a major impact on the country's economy.
ari nk'inganda zikora ibikoresho by'ubwubatsi.
There are some industries based on the production of construction materials, as you saw that in different aspects, the Rwandan cement is being consumed most. As well as those investors are even committed to establish those industries. It's because they see that where they invest in generates back a profit, as even in textiles, they've also contributed much to the development of made in Rwanda, and you see that people now like than imported ones.
Bashobora rwose no kurutisha ahubwo ibivuye hanze.
In partnership with the private sector, new industries have been constructed in designated industrial areas across the country, including pharmaceutical and vaccines, construction materials such as steel, tin, cements and textiles, packaging, and other industries that process agricultural products. Economist Francois Kanimba finds that during the preparation of the NS2, the government will have to invest in selected industries in order to help them to compete to the foreign markets. For me, I think that in the government's program that is in regard of promoting industries, they should review first industries that are currently operating in Rwanda so that they can use them hence to hit the international market with full support so that they can be able to compete with those international industries. Therefore, we can select those that have potential in their activities. And I think those industries are already there, since you find that they make exportation with high efforts that are less to their capacity. But what I really think that can help them is for the government to make an investment in such program. Only 7% of the points are remaining for this level to reach 21.7% of the country's gross domestic product by June this year, whereas in the remaining 5 months, they are confident that this goal will be achieved from 16.5% of the industrial production to the country's GDP in 2017. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Environmentalists here in Rwanda have been calling for a feasibility study to be carried out on how the pollution of the Nyabarongo River can be reduced in the districts it flows through. Mining activities and agriculture along its banks have been cited as the top reasons the rivers continue to show signs of dangerously high pollution levels. Part of the upper headwaters of the Nile itself, the river begins in the Nyungwe forest and proceeds to flow through districts in the southern, western and northern provinces, and it is unfortunate, but people living close to it say they have never seen its waters clear. Every year, Rwanda loses as much as 25 tons of fertile upper soil per hectare of land because of erosion, partly explaining why the Nyabarongo River, the longest in the country, is always muddy. Efforts have been made to reduce soil erosion along its banks, but the fact that it remains its dirty brown color is testament to the fact that more needs to be done. Now, people who frequently use the Nemba border post that links Rwanda to Burundi have pointed out that the latter's decision to close its borders with Rwanda has seriously hindered the movement of people and goods with implications to more than just the two countries. Truck drivers from Uganda and elsewhere have spent the last 3 days at the border waiting to be allowed into Burundi, and local businesses in both countries along the border have also been suffering. Rwandans who were in Burundi when the decision to close that country's border was made have been allowed to return home, and Burundians who were in Rwanda and wished to cross back have also been allowed to do so. Rwanda's borders have remained open throughout the ordeal, and officials in the country have stated that closure by Burundi was not only unnecessary, it is also unproductive. That is, it is also counterproductive for everyone, and that other available channels should have been used by the authorities in Burundi to address the issue. Rwanda's government has also urged its citizens not to cross into Burundi because it is clear that they are not welcome there, but also stressed that no Burundian nationals living in Rwanda will be victimized in any way. Now to Rutsiro district, that's in the western province, where teachers and students alike of a school on the island of Bugarura on Lake Kivu say they have a problem with the way boat operators function there, never following a fixed schedule or keeping time, which makes crossing to the island to get to the school on time an ordeal. Calls have been made for the government to step in and provide a dedicated ferry for the teachers and students, or for lodgings to be made available for teachers on the island as a permanent solution to the problem. District authorities say they intend to visit the island and assess the transportation situation to it before making recommendations to the central government on how to address the matter, but caution that it will likely take time to implement when you factor in the budget requirements. They are also calling for the private sector to seize the opportunity and invest to meet the transport demand there, because it can be a lucrative business if properly implemented. I'm always glad when you're able to join us. Stay with Rwanda Television for more programming, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.